Yes, people. Welcome back to another episode of L Bins. As Nobbins just said, then before we went live, there was a football match that we played at the weekend. And as much as I would like to sit here and speak about his wedding and other stuff that's going on in the world, we do have to speak about City.
Boo. Boo.
Speak about something else. What do you reckon? Should we put it to the people?
Yeah, let's talk about our gym split.
Oh god. But yeah, big up to everybody in the chat, man. Make sure you guys are smashing up the likes. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well. Subscribe to Nobbins. I'm sure I'll have a are you gonna do one? Are you gonna do a
It's if you were a true fan, you know it's already out. It was out yesterday. So you've exposed yourself.
No. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll
in 480i, so
I'll blame it on YouTube, yeah, because YouTube not giving people notifications apparently these days. So I'll blame it on YouTube for not notifying.
Sure.
So make sure you guys go check that one out. But yeah, mate, like, oh my god, do you not think it's really annoying that like we've been so positive of like the last 6 weeks, and then to lose like that, it's so frustrating, isn't it? And it's god, it's just so annoying.
I think that's the word, isn't it? It is frustrating, and because I don't know what you think, because we haven't spoken about it. I don't know what your viewers think. I don't even think that we played like terribly at all. That's the thing. I don't think that it was just like an absolute horror show from City and that we deserve to get humbled and battered. I'm not saying that we were fantastic in the game, but I still think there were some positives to take. So it's just from the performance. So it's just frustrating that the results didn't quite match how I felt watching the game. As you say, after two great performances and great results against Bournemouth and Liverpool also, yeah, frustrating is definitely the word for that. So maybe there is some positives we can talk about, but of course, the negatives of the result and also some negatives of the performance just overshadow that, unfortunately. And it's always going to overshadow it. So thankfully, we have a match tomorrow, so we can hopefully quickly get back that momentum, get back up to winning ways.
I'm with you, mate. I don't even think we played that bad, man. I agree. It wasn't an amazing performance, and I wouldn't even say it was like necessarily a good performance. But I just think it was like, I don't know. I mean, I don't think when you create that many chances, yeah. And obviously, again, you have to recognise who you're playing here. Yeah, you're not playing like fucking Burnley at the bottom of the league, mate. You're playing like a good Newcastle side, and I just feel that. I don't know. I just feel that like certain things happen in the game and happen during moments that just let us down. You know what I mean? At both ends of the pitch. Obviously, we spoke about the missed chances. I'm sure you spoke about that on your video because they were, in fact, I saw your tweet when you said it was inexcusable. And I agree with that. I mean, the chance you can't afford to miss those chances. But then you look at the defense and you look at the chances that were created. And I see that you said it was six big chances against us or conceded or whatever, which is like the most since last year or whatever. We're not conceded that many this year in a single game. And it was just like, yeah, it definitely felt like from a sort of like defensive point of view, or more of a structure, I'd say, rather than like individual errors. I don't even think there was that many individual errors from our defenders. Like, for example, right, I was speaking about it in the watch along, yeah, like Gvardiol and Diaz's partnership was so off at the weekend. Like, they were literally letting just like Voltmate just walk through the middle of them. Neither of them were picking him up. That was so weird. Like, one of you's pick him up, man. And that happened twice, by the way. Yeah. The first time it was when Murphy got the ball on the right hand side and he put the cross in and Donnarumma saved it. And another one was the header on a set piece or a corner. And the guy was just stood in between. And I'm like, so that was weird. But then you go a little bit further. And to be fair, I thought the fullbacks did okay. I didn't think Nunes or O'Reilly had a bad game. I thought they were both just all right. But then I think you go to the midfield and you look at Bernardo Silva and Nico Gonzalez, and I think that they didn't really play amazing either for me, like as in terms of like dominating that midfield and providing a real protection for the defense. I don't really remember Nico Gonzalez or Bernardo Silva like doing any like challenges, dominating the midfield, protecting the defense, and as a result, yeah, you just you had the six big chances conceded. And I know Newcastle missed their fair amount of chances in the first half, but you're not going to get away with that forever. And in the end, we paid the price. So, yeah, I don't think from a performance point of view, it was like we dropped an absolute stinker. I just think that like Pep and the coaches have to look at certain things that were happening Why was the defensive partnership not connected? Why was Diaz and Gavadio just letting Boltmate just be free? Why is our midfield too, that's been so good in the last few games, sort of like absent and not really getting stuck in? And I think if you can provide a solution for that, which I think would be quite quick fixes, I don't think it's like a systematic problem. Then I think you're fine. And that's probably one of the reasons that I didn't lose my shit on Saturday. I was annoyed and disappointed, but I don't think it was a performance that warranted a "oh my god, we're finished, we're cooked." It was a performance that was like, okay, some annoying things happened in that game at both ends of the pitch and in midfield, but they're quick fixes and they shouldn't really drag on into the next games. I don't know what you think. I know I just waffled there for a bit, but
no, that's good. We love waffle. I definitely agree. So like we're sort of like getting into the bones of, were the problems against Newcastle, were they just short-term problems like in a vacuum for that particular match, or are they longer-term issues that we may expect to see going forwards this season, or are the issues that we have seen this season? And that's the reason why I'm not overly concerned about the missed chances from the game from a long-term perspective, because we know that we are the Premier League's. I know Arsenal now have the same amount of goals as us, but no one scored more goals than us in the Premier League. So it's clearly not a long-term issue for City in terms of scoring the goals, because we score a lot of goals. We're never going to see another game this season. You can bookmark this and pin it where we miss that many big chances all in one game. It simply isn't going to happen. So that's why I'm not overly concerned about that going forwards, because once again, we know that Foden isn't going to miss that sitter that Shirky created for him. We know that Haaland isn't going to shit the bed when a goalkeeper comes out at him and he can just dribble past it for a tap in. We know that Haaland isn't going to miss that shot where he just hits it straight at Nick Pope. That's not going to happen again. Or even that header in the second half from Haaland. That's not going to happen again. But what did happen in the game, and what we have seen this season, and what we still do need to address, and I do think this is where it is a bit more of a problem. Not saying it's like this necessarily a massive detrimental problem, but it's still one we have seen this season. And that has been more so, there have been build-up issues, and there have also been pressing issues. And we have seen that this season. And we saw that against Newcastle as well. And we asked the question of why did City backline look so exposed? And there were a lot. And by the way, there were a lot of sloppy passes and touches by some of our midfielders, which didn't help at all. But what was capitulated and what aggravated it was the fact that our press was incredibly. The word I use is reckless. It's something that I don't think I've really seen us do since like very early in the season when our players were just sort of charging haphazardly at players. There were so many moments where like Bernardo would dive in, just gets bypassed. Okay, and then Bernardo gets beaten. So now Nico jumps in and he gets bypassed. Okay, so now Nico O'Reilly has to jump in and then he gets bypassed. And that happened far too easily. So that was a concern for me. And I'm still not been totally convinced by our out of possession structure this season for that very reason. The other thing is that it was another game where we saw, unfortunately, because we had a game where some of our players had like those slightly looser touches, and of course we were going to lose the physical battle in midfield. It meant that if we weren't perfect with those technical actions in those earlier phases, then we were going to be in trouble actually just structuring attacks from the back, and that happened again. So like and then that leads to opposition chances. So. You remember that Barnes, the horrendous miss, where it's like shooting in like the first half.
That was
that comes from City like failing to build out from the back. It really reminded me of, I don't know if you remember the Burnley goal that we conceded, where again we're trying to build out from the back and we give it away out wide because we can't build out through the centre, and then we concede a goal from it. So that reared its head again against Newcastle, and it just goes to show that if a team just sets up and positions a good number of players around our box from goal kicks, we still haven't yet fully figured out how to deal with that. And it's still too easy. Other teams, rather, are finding it too easy to put us under pressure and either force us into a long ball and then they just come straight back at us, or they force us into an error and then they have a decent opportunity at goal or have a shot or something like that. So that's still an area that we do need to focus on, try to resolve. We made progress against Bournemouth and Liverpool in that sense because all of our technicians were fully switched on, but it just goes to show that it's not an issue that's been ironed out absolutely this season. So that's maybe my biggest concern from the match, I would say. Of course, the finishing has to be better, but I know that it's been good this season. But the two areas where we have seen it consistently poor this season, or rather it being a problem area, is the out of possession pressing structure. I don't think that we've finalized that, and the build up structure and how easy we are to get at from those early phases. I don't think we've solved that yet either. So big questions for Pep, I would say.
Do you not think, though, in like games like that at Newcastle and like tough opponents and that you should utilize the long ball more, and especially this year where Haaland's been a lot better at winning the long balls and bringing other players into play like Foden and Doku and that, and obviously Reinders against Arsenal. Do you not think in a game like that, like where you're at a tough place to play, you probably should go long a little bit more? Because I agree with someone in the chat who just said it then, like, I don't think we went long enough to Haaland enough at the weekend. I felt like we tried to play out so much, and I'm like, I don't know, man. It just feels like you're waiting for a mistake. And I know sometimes it works, right? For example, I think it was the Bournemouth game where we played that. We scored a goal. They pressed us off a goal kick, and something happened. And we played out. And I think actually the Liverpool game, maybe the one that I'm thinking of, where Haaland scored the header, and we were being pressed like crazy. And then we played out. It was a really nice goal, but when you go into a really tough ground, and again, I always say this because it's important to say, like Kevin De Bruyne says, this is the hardest place to play in the Premier League, right? And I just feel that, like, sometimes I'm like, I feel like we force it a little bit. Do you know what I mean? In games like that, I feel like we should be getting Doku and Foden really close to Haaland, going along to Haaland and trying to play off him. I'm not saying do it every time. Yeah, I'm not saying like we just become Stoke City, but in a game like that, for me, I don't know. I think you need to go long a little bit more, especially when Haaland. I think it's been quite successful this season going long. It's a bit of a 50-50, right? But when you've got a 6'4" striker up top, I think you should utilise that a little bit more, man.
I think it does depend on game state. I'd say the problem is that we did go long a fair amount against Newcastle. So, and because I'm a nerd, I've got the timestamps. So at 13:26, we punted it long through Gvardiol, and then Haaland just lose it. And then a few seconds later, we just give it straight back to Newcastle again from a long one. And then that leads to Nico, who should have had a yellow card. The problem was that when we went long, we just weren't winning it. So I think that there was almost no solution yesterday because we weren't particularly good at winning those long balls either. There was another one. So at 36:42, Diaz took a goal kick, punted it out, tries to find Haaland, immediately goes to a Newcastle player. We lose the ball. And then about 15 seconds later, Newcastle get into a very similar crossing position to, do you remember, this wasn't the one, but it was a very similar position. Do you remember the one where it was from Newcastle's right and it goes to Voltemade and it's with Voltemade's head?
Yeah.
It was in a very similar area that Newcastle just end up in like 15, 20 seconds later. So unfortunately, again, on Saturday, we didn't really have a viable tool either way because we weren't able to win those long balls because, as you said, at best it's a 50-50. But if the other team have, a good physical centre-backs or indeed full-backs, then it makes it tricky for us to try to get a foothold. You're also then introducing the second ball and loose ball game. And let's be honest, in a battle of the second balls against Newcastle's midfield, there's only one winner there when they have Joelinton, Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes. So
it sounds like to me, right, that you almost feel like we were destined to not win that match.
No, not at all. We had to be better. No, because we had to be better finishing wise, of course. But we also had to be better just with our technical actions, I think. And that was a concern. So there were lots of players who you'd consider to be very gifted at that weren't up for it on Saturday. So the amount of times that I saw Nico give it away in a really dangerous area, it's so unlike him for the past couple of games. And Bernardo as well, these players who you associate with being the ultimate like retainers of possession, just like giving away silly errors. I don't think there was any world we could have tried to win a physical battle, but we know That's what am I trying to say here? My conclusion from that isn't the midfield is too lightweight, because I've seen City beat superior midfield's RE physicality. Bournemouth more physical than us, Liverpool far more physical than us, but we still ran rings around them. I know Barcelona perhaps a very different side, but they went to St James's Park and their midfield isn't exactly filled with 6'5" behemoths, is it? It's filled with Frankie. That's what I mean. And as you say, I love that verb. We out-teched Bournemouth. We out-teched Liverpool. We tried to do it against Newcastle. We weren't able to do that. And because we weren't able to do that, that means that touches are slightly looser. And that means that a physical battle gets introduced. So if your touch isn't clean, it means that, okay, and you give Joelinton a second, okay, now he's going to get in on you. And we can have a chat about, there should have been more yellow cards for those.
Let me ask you a question then, right? On that point then, yeah? So, and this is pure hindsight, yeah? This is pure hindsight. Right, because I was not game for this pre-game, right? So I'm not saying he should have done this. I'm saying this is hindsight here. But based on that, then, do you think he should have started Reinders instead of Bernardo Silva, or played Bernardo Silva off the right? Based on the fact that if you're basically suggesting there that we weren't going to be able to win the physical battle, it was about outplaying them technically. Should we maybe have played Reinders instead of Bernardo, and then either you drop Bernardo or you play Bernardo off the right and maybe drop Cherki or Foden?
I don't think so, because I think that Bernardo is one of those players that if you want to play that sort of game right now in our development, I think you need Bernardo on the pitch because he's better in those deeper areas than Reinders is. And he would be one of those vital cogs. Like, I think he's essential to trying to play like that. So definitely wouldn't... I don't think I'd be introducing Reinders at all. I actually don't think there was a problem with the starting 11 because we saw it work to great effect against Bournemouth and Liverpool. Unfortunately, it was just one of those days in front of goal. And for me, it was also, and more importantly, one of those days, the laxness of some of those touches. We know that some of these players are not going to misplace these simple passes like they did on Saturday because it's not in their nature to do so. Like, we know that Bernardo isn't that sort of player, so I don't have a problem with the lineup. I do feel that it was just one of those days in terms of those technical actions, and there's not too much that you can do about it. I suppose that for the first half, actually no, I'm going to change my mind there massively, because the second half it got a lot better. It got a lot better from City. Not in terms of finishing, but in terms of like what I'm talking about, which is like not being as bad from build-up. And that's because Pep actually altered where he arranged the players on the pitch. So he swapped Bernardo and Foden in the second half, and we looked a lot better and we looked a lot more stable. So the fact that Pep changed it perhaps is a reason why, because a lot of times in that first half, we were actually building up with a 2-2 rather than the 2-3. And in that first half, you had Foden often very advanced, so he wasn't really being involved in that build-up chain for a lot of it, unless he drifted off to the left, in which case he was. And in the second half, he moved it. So he moved Bernardo to pressing from the front, and he swapped Foden Bernardo. So Bernardo went to the right and Foden went to the left. So we did fix it, I suppose, in conclusion, because it was better in the second half. There weren't many... I can't name many build-up issues in that second half.
Okay,
really.
Okay. Let me come to some of these chats, man. Smash these likes up as well, boys, if you've not done so already. Over 300 people locked in. Let's get these likes to 100, man. Hit that thumbs up button if you've not done so already. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. Obviously, if you've got any questions for us in terms of topics that you want us to discuss, then whack them in the chat, innit? Right, I've got a couple of super chats from Armenia. Says Newcastle game was our hardest match in my opinion. We can go on a run at least till the Chelsea game. Doku's in good form. We need to use him more, says Armenia. Yeah, I said it last night, bro. We got like 6 or 7 winnable games. Now, if we want to win the league, in my opinion, you've got to win every single one. No ifs, no buts.
Yes.
That's where we're at, bro. He also says Savinho is so bad. He's on Timo Werner settings. Bro, he's getting cooked right now. I can't lie. LBG rate Savinho, his end product is criminal. As a sort of like fundamental answer, yeah, I do like him, but the way he's playing at the moment is nowhere near the level that we need I think he's suffering from a confidence crisis. But the problem is the only way to get rid of that is by playing him week in, week out. But we can't afford to play week in, week out because we need to fucking win matches and we need creativity and end products from him. So I don't, and I've said this for a couple of weeks now. I don't really know where Savinho goes from here in terms of like the short term because you can't start him. Well, I don't think you can start him over Cherky. So yeah, I don't know, man. It's not looking good at the moment, and obviously it's getting cooked off everyone. So yeah, not ideal, mate. Not ideal.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that he can start tomorrow, and hopefully he can start where he played against Dortmund and Villarreal because that's where he's had his best games this season. So hopefully he can do that. But yeah, like he wasn't. He was. I mean, he was terrible on Saturday. Let's be honest. Like, even if you want to have the chat about is he best off the left or right, like it's inexcusable for him to be putting in that performance.
Well, this is the problem, right? Is that like people are saying to me now, yeah, oh, but you said he was better off the left. He's fucking shit. So I'm like, okay, fairs. But what do we do then? Because he's only scored 1 goal in the Premier League on the right hand side since he's been here. And I know like maybe he's a bit more creative on the right and that, but like when it comes to him, like I just don't know what you do now. That's the point. Like I feel like
I think you have to. I think you have to at this point. I mean, so the reason why I'm not big on him, even though he can definitely play on the left, the reason why I'm not big on him starting there is because he just becomes too predictable. Like when he came on, I think Livramento's job. I mean, he must have been like licking his lips because he's just been having to deal with like Doku and Nico Riley rotations. Such a tricky challenge, so unpredictable. But we all know what Savio's playbook is when he plays on the left. Like everyone here in the chat can name the one thing that he's going to do every single time on the left. He's going. Yeah. There you go. So you know the right back is going to know exactly what he's going to do. So in his head, he already knows exactly what's going to happen. So and there's nothing wrong with being predictable if you know it's going to work. But it's not like he's got the quality of delivery where it's consistent every single time, where it's like, oh my God, even though it's predictable, it's going to be a massive danger. It's not necessarily the case. So we do have to, and I don't think there's any room for him on the left anyway. If the idea is that Marmoush is going to play in this side at some point, then his best position would also be in that region. So it would make more sense for him to try to compete for a spot off the right. Again, hopefully he starts against Leverkusen and puts in another good performance because he's been good in the Champions League so far.
Yeah, no, I'd probably give him a run out on the right hand side against Leverkusen and fucking hope and pray that he has a good game. Because if he doesn't, oh my God, I don't know, man. He's going to get fucking roasted. All right, let's have a look at some of the questions that are coming in from the chat. Then let's see what you guys are saying. What time do you think is Marmoush time? Says Live, Love, Laugh. What did you make of this? Pulpy asked me last night. He said, "LB, what do you think of this?" Marmoush thing only coming on for 3 minutes. Like, do you think so much going on? Like, it was very strange, wasn't it?
I don't think I would have brought on Marmoush at all, personally.
Really?
Because
when you need a goal.
Okay, I'll revise that statement. I don't think you bring on Marmoush at all unless you like take off a defender or a deep midfield for him in that game state, is what I'm trying to say. Because what happened, it was because introducing him when you're up against a team who are just going to want to defend for their lives and there's no space to really attack. I don't think that in a vacuum, Marmoush is the sort of player that you bring on for that, really. The sort of player that you bring on for that would be Cherki or Doku.
Who took a ball from the ball.
Yeah. And
what did you make of the subs? Because I thought the subs were baffling, mate. I can't lie.
Yeah, and before I go on a bit of a rant here, and I need to make it clear that the reason why we lost wasn't because of the subs, because we should have been a lot better beforehand. I'm going to make that very clear. I thought Pep got it mostly right before then, but I can't. There is a reason why, and I rewatched the game. City did shit all after the subs. Like, we created nothing. I think the best chance was a half volley Savio shot from a corner, and that was never going in. We did literally nothing afterwards. You're taking off, and a lot of the blame has to go to the players, of course, but it was ultimately still Pep's decisions when the players weren't good enough. Apart from the Reinders one for Bernardo, which I get, more attacking situation, the players that you want to play against a low block are Doku, Foden, Cherki. These are either small space players or they are players who are going to, or who are just general game breakers, or who can create something out of nothing. You don't take them off when you need a goal in 15 minutes. That's the exact opposite of what you do, I think. So I really disliked the subs. If you are going to bring on Savio, fine. Do it. Play him off the right if you are going to do that. If you are going to bring on Marmoush, fine. But I don't think that should ever be at the expense at someone like someone who's fantastic in the pockets. And hey, space is going to be at a premium when the team go low block. That's how it works. So you want your better technicians on the pitch. And as much as I'm a big fan of Marmoush, he's not going to offer that necessarily. His best attribute is going to be those runs in behind and stretching the play. But if the opponent don't care about runs in behind because they're setting up defensively, like massive backs to the wall, then what's the point at that stage? So I
probably would have thrown Marmoush on, because when you need a goal, granted there wasn't probably a lot of space, but if you got a little knockdown on the edge of the box or something,
I don't disagree with that. So long as it's take off someone mad, like take off a centre back for it. Do something insane like that and just like change the structure entirely.
To be honest,
so you're not missing out.
Mate? I would have took off Foden. I thought in the second half he was shocking, mate. I thought he was shocking in that second half, me. I can't lie. I thought every time the ball went
I don't agree. I think second half it was actually better than the first half.
Really?
Because, yeah. I mean, early in the second half, there was that move. I think it was around the 47th minute where, and it's one of the best chances of the game. So Foden receives it on the left. He immediately plays it first time into Doku. And then Doku plays it out, and now Doku's run. So Newcastle's midfield is entirely bypassed. Doku plays to Haaland, and that's the Fior challenge. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
That
was a good tackle. That one.
And like Haaland's in a fantastic position. We've seen him score from there, but it's a fantastic challenge by Fior. And then there was that cross as well. So where Doku receives it on the left, he's sucked in Livramento Tonali. He plays it back to Foden. Foden picks his head up, hits the cross, and it's a great cross. And I'm sorry, but that should be a goal as well. And then Haaland just heads it into the ground. So
he should do better on that one.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'd agree.
I just felt like he's all around playing that second. Mate, there were so many times the ball was just bouncing off him.
Yeah,
that's personally what I would have done. What I would have done, I would have took I would have left Doku on. I would have took Foden off. I would have put Marmoush on. I would have, and I would have just told Marmoush just to sort of like hang around the edge of the box type thing for knockdowns and that, because you're in a sort. And it sounds desperate, but you're in a desperate situation. I would have put Cherky like fully inside. I know he basically played inside a lot on the game anyway, but I would have, and I would have just pushed Nunes really, really far forward as a sort of like right winger type situation and just sent it like that. And I probably would have thrown Reinders on for Bernardo as well. I would have done that because again, you're chasing a goal. There's no point having Bernardo on when you're 2-1 down. But yeah, man, I thought the subs were very stretched. The Cherky one for me was a weird one because, like you said, when you're playing against a low block, which you're going to do when you're 2-1 down in the last 15 minutes, he's like the best player to unlock a defense. So that was
and look, maybe they were injured, maybe they weren't able to carry on, or they weren't fully fit, and obviously we don't have the information, and Guardiola knows more than the Twitter guys, as he says. But so maybe I can give him that credit, but unless there was like a significant injury or like a player has to come off or was just shattered, then there's no excuse to take those players off personally. No,
I agree.
I don't really get it.
Very weird. Let me go to some more of these questions in the chat, man. In fact, let me ask you a question on, because this has been an interesting topic. Gvardiol, do you think he needs to rest?
In an ideal world, he does, but I don't think we can afford to rest him for big games anyway. I'd rest him against Leverkusen.
Do you think like Leeds at the weekend at home is a big game?
It's massive. It must win.
Do you not think that you could play a John Stones in that game though?
I've not watched enough Leeds this season, so I don't know how they play. Do they press high? I've
only watched them once. I watched them against Newcastle. That's it.
Do they press high, or do they just sit compact?
I was in the pub. I was steaming.
Does anyone in the chat know? Like that'd be quite interesting, because I'll admit I don't think I've watched any Leeds this season. No, I will watch them in preparation
against Newcastle, man.
Yeah, because if they are a side who just set up shop, like a Burnley, and they just set up shop and be defensive, and that's all they really are interested in, then you can get away. I'd say you can get away with resting Gvardiol. If they're a team who do want to engage really high up the pitch and want to cause us issues from goal kicks, I don't know if I'd be comfortable resting Gvardiol. So that is the crux for me. But if anyone can educate me in the chat, I don't know
also,
what to do.
You're also at the point where if you do drop points again and Arsenal win, I think you might have to call it at 10 points, man. Like, bro, double figures, man, is a lot, mate. Like, I don't know if we can do that, man, the way that they're playing at the moment. So yeah, I don't know. I'm with you, man. I probably would rest him for Leverkusen.
I think you have to.
Yeah, I'd rest him for Leverkusen, and I probably would rest him for Leeds and just play John Stones and Diaz and hope and fucking pray that we just get the win. You know what I mean? And then he's got a week off there and then bring him back in. But people were saying that he's got tendonitis in his knee, bro. And I'm saying to Pulpy last night, if he's got tendonitis, bro, that's not ideal. It's a nightmare injury.
It's just
nightmare injury.
It's so hard because, and this is why I asked a question about what do they do like when the other team builds up, because Gvardiol is so crucial to how this City side builds up. Like it's
you couldn't play Ake. Ake and Diaz at the back is like a nightmare for me. I fucking hate it.
No, yeah, against a side who like wants to try to engage high, no, it would be a madness, and you could potentially, I mean, introducing John Stones would, of course, that could be a thing, but you're still losing a massive left-footed asset in Gvardiol there. So I wouldn't be comfortable saying that, oh yeah, we can get away with that, and you can go, oh, but it's only Leeds, but it's a must-win game. It's a must-win game. We're 7 points behind Arsenal. If we want to compete for the title, then of course Leeds at home is a game that you absolutely have to not only win but win well.
Yeah. All right. A couple more questions here. I don't know if we've ever discussed this player, right? But I'm discussing him more and more and more. Every stream, his name seemingly crops up. Elliot Anderson.
Oh yes.
Do you like him as a player? Because I'm really liking him.
He's good.
Liking him, bro.
It's good. It makes a lot of sense that we are being linked with him, aren't we? I've not made that up. It's not just our fans.
Yeah, someone last night, I can't remember his name, Daily Mail said City and United are front runners for him in the summer.
Yeah.
And obviously City do need to sign a midfielder in the summer because Bernardo and probably Kovacic will both be leaving the football club. So you probably need to, if I'm being honest. And let's fucking hope Rodri doesn't leave, otherwise you need 3. So anyway, sorry, bro. Yeah,
no, you're absolutely right. It makes too much sense. We know that almost definitely Bernardo and Kova are leaving. You need at least one midfielder in. I'd say the one because we do have a bloated squad. So you do need one midfielder to come in. You also need to have a think of what type of midfielder do City need, and in hindsight, like following all the activity after the Reinders signing has sort of confused me a little bit. But so what do we need? We do need a midfielder who is going to be able to provide more of that general, I'm going to say like traditional, almost like box to box play where they are more of a general overall midfielder and they can provide that physicality, dual winning, second ball winning, etc., etc. So you do need that profile of midfielder. And also, is my favorite topic, we do also need probably a homegrown option there. I think it makes sense that this is why City are being linked with Gibbs White, Wharton, Anderson, that ilk of midfielder. All of it adds up to make a lot of sense for City. The fact that we will need a midfielder in the summer, we need a homegrown midfielder, and we need that type of midfielder as well. So it all adds up to make way too much sense.
Yeah, I like him, man. Listen, we're not going to sign him until the summer anyway. This isn't going to be January, so you got plenty more time to watch him. But every time I watch him, I just think he's perfect for us, man. Like, you know what I mean? It's that player that plays next to the. I don't think he's a 6. Yeah, I don't think he's a 6. I think he's the guy that plays next, basically the Gundogan replacement. Yeah,
sure.
I feel like he's the guy that plays next to him, and he gets stuck in. He's good on the ball. He can move forward with it. He's very confident as well. Athletic, can get up and down the pitch. I don't know, man. I just think he fits us, mate. And like I say, it's early days. I'll keep watching him, and maybe I'll see him more, and I'll change my opinion on him. Yeah, but I just keep your eye out on him. You know what I'm saying? I know everyone thinks we're going to go for Wharton and that he seems like a Manchester City player, but I don't know, man. I personally see him more as a sort of Rodri replacement, if I'm being honest. Like more of a sort of like deep lying playmaker, sort of not the same as Rodri, he's more of like a Pirlo style player. You know what I mean? Like plays deep, playmaker type thing from deep. But Anderson for me is a player that I think we should be looking at. And like you say, we're probably going to need one, maybe two homegrown players. I don't think we need much more than that based on the maths I did. And yeah, if you go and get one of them, I don't know, it's going to be interesting, man. But I don't think we're going to sign anybody in January. Maybe we go and get that right back, but he ain't going to come straight into the team. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to happen.
Yeah. It's probably more, and we also know how tricky Forest are to deal with as well. Like they don't need to sell, like they didn't want to sell Gibbs, right? They didn't end up doing it. It's very unlikely that they would sell in January anyway, and it would be at a massive price. Yeah, probably most likely in the summer, and then you can perhaps run you definitely can, assuming like Rodri comes back to full fitness, then you can have a midfield three if you keep playing a 4-3-3 of Rodri, Foden, and Anderson, which on paper is a lot more of a balanced midfield than say Rodri, Foden, and Bernardo. So there's lots of potential in that move, definitely.
Yeah. No, I agree. Guys, smash these likes up if you've not done so already, man. Over 400 people locked in. Shout out to Femi, who says missing Huzanov in a big away game since Arsenal. Did we miss him yesterday or Saturday? Would he have made much difference?
No.
I'm sure he would have made much difference in that. Listen, I'm a big fucking Huzanov glazer, mate. Yeah, I love Huzanov, but I don't think we would have really... Like, if I'm just think about it, right? Where would he have made a difference?
I don't think he would have
made a difference on either goal, really, because neither goal. The second goal was a bit of a shit show all round, but I don't think it was like an individual error from anyone. And build up, I don't really see, what difference he would have made. And I'm a big Huzanov glazer, but in that particular game, I don't think he would have made a big difference. But maybe in terms of like, going forward, maybe you got an argument potentially. I don't know where to drop Diaz, because Diaz has been pretty good this season. And Nunez obviously has been holding it down on the right-hand side. So I'm a big Huzanov fan, and I can't wait for him to be a long-term option in the starting 11. But I can't lie, at the moment, I don't really think we're missing him in terms of like the games personally.
No, if you want to play Shirky, you can't play Kusanov without basically restricting Shirky to playing as a right winger. Like if we're going off the lineup from yesterday, so he clearly can't get in at right back. And Diaz was really good on Saturday, especially like
for a while now.
And his line breaking passes were actually really impressive and really important. Like the amount of times that he found Foden, Doku, and Shirky in those pockets was really impressive, I thought. So, and you can't drop Gvardiol because he's left-footed. If Kusanov was left-footed, it'd be a lovely time, but he isn't. So, I wouldn't have. I don't think he was missed on Saturday, personally.
Yeah, nor do I. But big up Femi, bro. Big up to Nicholas as well. Savio should have been put on the right instead of Bob. Pass back, Merchant Bob gives nothing, says Nicholas.
Don't lose faith in Bob. Don't lose faith.
Yeah. I don't know why Pep... When was the last time we seen Bob on the left-hand side?
I know he came on there when we lost to Aston Villa 1-0 a couple of seasons ago. I don't know why that's in my mind. I can't remember the last time he started left wing, though.
No, like, we've not seen it this season, have we?
No.
I don't think we have. And it's weird because when we first started seeing him off the bench a few years ago, he was playing on the left. Villa, Newcastle away. And that's why obviously everyone got hyped for him. And then since then, we've not seen him on the left. So, yeah, weird that, to be honest with you. I'd like to see him be given a goal on that left-hand side. And then obviously you can put Savio on the right. You know what I mean? And hopefully Savio can do something on the right. So, yeah, weird one. Big up to Spartacus as well with a 17 months. Says, if anything, Huzanov would only make our build-up weaker. The back line wasn't the issue. We just had a bad day at the office. And yeah, I agree, bro. I just think it was a bad day at the office, man. I'm going to be real with you. And, I'll crash it. If I think we're shit, I think manager's got something mad wrong, Spartacus. Yeah, I'll say it, man. I'll give you my honest opinion every single time. But I also know that in football, you do have them days sometimes where it's just not your day. And I just think on Saturday, it just wasn't our day. You know what I mean? And listen, that doesn't mean we don't talk about the bad things. We spoke about the bad things on here. I spoke about it the last couple of days. The finishing was shocking. It was shit. Yeah. The centre-back partnership as an actual partnership was poor. The midfield wasn't great. Yeah. But at the same time, we had more than enough opportunities to win that game, and we didn't, and nothing went right for us. The refereeing decisions were sus. I'm not blaming the referee. I never do that, but again, it just highlights that it's just one of them fucking days, boys. You know what I'm saying? And now we've got to. And I said last night's pulping, now that we've lost all these games and we've dropped points, we have to now go on a run. There's no excuses now. You know, you've got 6-7 games now, all winnable fixtures. You have to win them all. You can't be dropping points now. If you want to win the league, you can't allow. I've seen people say, "Oh, take a point," but you can't keep taking points. This is what I'm saying, and this is why when people back in match day 2 and match day 3 were going, "Oh, stop moaning. Yeah, it's only match day 2. It's only match day 3. Why are you moaning for?" It's because, you create an environment where you almost need perfection because you don't allow yourself any insurance in the bank. Yeah, because if you drop points again, you're fucked. And that's exactly what's happened. And that's why these people who on match day 2 were saying, "Why are you moaning? It's only match day." And then we lose again against Brighton. And then they do it again. Then they shit themselves then. But then they have to double down rather than going, "Oh shit, yeah, maybe we are a bit fucked here." They double down and say, "It's only match day 3. Stop panicking." And it's like, all right, and sound. But what it means is, that you don't allow yourself any bad days at the office. You don't allow yourself any insurance because then you're going to be fucked then. You know what I'm saying? So let's see what happens, mate, in these next 6-7 games. But we need straight up dubs.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because you said that it was one of those days, and we say at the top of the stream, it was a frustrating game. It's certainly not the game for some people to throw their toys out of the pram, be a reactivist crybaby, and go, that player's shit, sell him. If you're doing that, then you need some assistance. It's not that sort of game to be making sweeping assessments of players in our squad. It really isn't. It was unfortunate and it was frustrating. So if you are one of those people, I mean, I'd just sort yourself out, I suppose.
This just wasn't the game for it.
Yeah, it's Newcastle away, and we're not talking about the refereeing decisions, but goodness me, there were some refereeing decisions, and there are also some mental situations in front of goal for us, and some horrendous situations. So it's not the game to cry about, is what I'm trying to say. That's not the same as saying you can't be frustrated and annoyed that we've dropped points. Of course you can. I'm frustrated and annoyed we've dropped points. But, like, perspective, I suppose, is the word.
Yeah. Now, listen, if we drop points in the next 6-7, they're the games to lose your shit. Honestly,
like if we get battered by Leeds at home, then hey, I'll be singing a different tune. But
exactly,
this ain't the dynamic and the environment to be losing our shit over it. And I've seen too many people do it, unfortunately, and it's very odd. And it's like, you must just have such a weird life to get angry at every little thing, guys. Come on.
Let me ask you, is there anything else you want us to speak about? Or chat, if you've got any more questions about the game itself, because we've got 20 minutes, 15 minutes left here. Yeah, I wanted to sort of like just speak about the general squad and that with Nobbins. But let us know if you've got anything else you want us to talk about on the actual game itself before we sort of move on. But yeah, anything else you wanted to mention about the game itself?
No, I think we've covered most of it.
Can I just rapid fire go through the refereeing decisions then?
Oh my God, sure.
So tackle on Foden, the shot, penalty?
It's a foul, yes, easily.
Okay, so it's a penalty.
Yes.
Handball, Doku shot on Thal, whatever he's called.
I'm willing to let that one slide because it's close to his body. So, and I don't think it actually hits the outstretched hand. So I'm not willing to say that's a penalty.
Okay. Thoughts on the offside goal? Do you think it was offside based on the?
Well, my eyes said it was offside, but the lines didn't, so I've got to accept it's onside.
I'm 3 for 3. I agree on all three of them. I think the offside goal, onside goal, I think it was onside. I think it just weird. Handball, don't think it was handball. Penalty on Foden, definitely a penalty on Foden.
Yeah, it's not. What annoys me most about that is sorry, we weren't going to talk about. Sorry, not going to talk about referee decisions.
It's all right. Right. Let me do the super chat and then we'll move on. It's not being reactionary. It seems Savinho is an absolute garbage of player. Should have been sold. Savinho would do 10 times better. Well, listen, bro. I'm telling you now, Savio's on running out of time, mate. I hope he does well. I like the player, but I'm telling you now, he's running out of time. I think that he fucked himself in the summer. Savinho, I don't know, man. I don't know about this Savinho guy. I like the look of him.
Savinho is not a Savio replacement. Also, it's not reactionary, it's reactive. So I don't really understand the comparison or the use of the word.
Oh, that one there was a violation. Personally, I wouldn't have it.
That's like the first time I've ever used that clip, yeah. And like in the right time. But nah, I don't, lad. I think Savinho's running out of time. I think he needs to start putting in some serious performances rapid. Otherwise, I think he could be cooked. As for Semenyo, I don't know, man. 65 million in the summer. Also, like, I've not seen him play on the right hand side, bro.
Did he not? Did he play there at Anfield at the start of the season? I felt like he gave Kirkes a massive battle and won every single time. Right? I feel like he did.
I can't remember. I did watch the game. I did watch.
Maybe he was just countering down the right. I'm not sure. But I like Semenyo, and he can play left and he can play right, and he is homegrown. So you know,
does get G.
And he does, yes, but he is, even though I do like him off the right, he is better off the left. And unless I'm like having a stroke, he's right-footed, isn't he?
Also, yeah, I personally, right, Ado, yeah, I personally, if we're going to sign a winger, I would just drop bank on fucking Doué or Elise, mate.
I think if we're talking about like a replacement for Savio, that means we need to sign a right winger who's actually a right winger, first and foremost, rather than a left winger who can play off the right. And then you also would preferably have their strong foot be left foot, I would say. And you also need them to be a naturally wide player as well. I do like Semenyo a lot, but I don't think that that's the player that we should be getting.
Semenyo, for me, would have been the player we signed this summer if Doku had a third season and was ass. And then we get to the end of the season, we go, yo, Doku's had 3 years. He's been shit he's not lived up to the step. We've got to move him on. Who do we get? Let's go get Semenyo. But Doku has started to cook. So now we don't need a left winger. Now we're looking at the right wing. And yeah, for me, I just want to fucking go for a baller, man. I just don't want to go for like average players or like projects no more, mate. Yeah, not in that winger position. I need to see someone that can drop me 20 GA in all competitions in a single season. I don't think I'm asking for a lot.
Yeah, and the problem is that if we want to have the conversation, because I'm willing to move Savio out if it does mean bringing in that player. Like I'm not being, I'm not being funny, but if that were the case, like because everyone knows that I wasn't that much of a fan of the links to Rodrigo. If it's not because I'm this massive Savio lover, it's because I didn't feel that Rodrigo was a good replacement for him. If there is this player out there who is a right winger and is left-footed and is able to provide all of these goals and assists and is available, that's the key because I know you're big on Elise. I know that lots of people are. And the key there is like actually available to come. Then sure, move on Savio, bring in this player. But unless you're saying Elise, who is at Bayern Munich and has only... Pardon?
You like Doué?
Yeah.
He's a good player, isn't he?
Yeah, he's good. But is he the level that you're after? That I thought you were talking about like a level above Doué.
Well, for me, like Elise would be my priority. But if you can't get Elise, I would definitely get a guy. I mean, Doué last year for PSG got 32 GA in 61 games.
It was a lovely season, yeah.
I'd love to get him.
I've not been keeping up with PSG this season. Has he been equally
well?
As
he's actually had a hamstring injury, but he's still got 6. He's only played 8 matches, but he's got 6 GA in 8 games.
Yeah. So I guess we'll have to see a post injury, won't we? I think the point I'm making there is it's also similar to the right back market where
there's not many.
There's not many to begin with, and I'm not saying that they don't exist, but there aren't many that we can name as a collective chat here and say and be reasonable in our expectation and go, oh yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to take a star winger from Bayern Munich, a bigger club than us. What we're going to do is we're going to take a star winger from PSG, the treble winners. I think we have to temper our expectations to an extent. The only reason why Rodrigo was available was because Real Madrid they were in theory happy to be done with him, and he's not starting games for them. Elise is starting a lot of games for Bayern. I
understand that it's going to be extremely tricky to sign Elise, and you might not be able to get him right, but we've got to try and get a level raiser, man. Yeah, unless obviously Savinho picks it up, and I hope he does, man. I'm still someone that actually likes him as a football player, but I hope he does pick it up. But I mean, if we get to the end of the year and he's not, and he carries on like his form, then you have to try and get someone, and you just have to go and get. Listen, you just have to try and get the best player you can. And if the best player you can get is Savinho, maybe you get Savinho. Yeah, if you can get a better player than him, you get a better player than him. But
I
that's
think
fundamentally what you do in a transfer window. You just have to try and buy players that are obviously fit the system, but are better than what you've currently got. And if you can't get an Elise, but you can get someone a level below him, but he's a level above Savinho, then I think you sort of have to do that, innit? You have to get someone like that, man.
yeah, and if you can, and if that player is available, then that's lovely.
Yeah.
But Elise isn't available. He's playing for, and it's. I'm not suggesting that you're doing this, or I'm not suggesting anyone in this chat is doing it. But I have seen people online almost treat Elise in the same way that Barca fans treat Haaland. The wording being, yeah, let's just go get him. That's an incredibly arrogant way to look at it. Like, how frustrated as a City fan must we all be when we see Barca fans online, or Real Madrid fans, or PSG fans now just saying, oh yeah, just go and get Haaland. Like, we need to get him now. He's going to be our star man for however many years. Imagine what like Bayern fans. It's the exact same level, I think, of almost arrogance. I would suggest to think that you can just go out and get him. And also, is there even a suggestion that he, one, wants to leave Bayern and two, wants to come to City? Is that even?
No, there's been absolutely nothing. My point is, I think we should try. Because
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. If we get rejected, we get rejected. I couldn't care
Sure.
less. Like, you know what I mean? When Verts rejected us in the summer, and what, move on to the next. We got Cherky, absolutely amazing. There's always another player out there, yeah? So I think it's going to be extremely difficult to get him, yeah? But on the fee, because I think they'll charge an arm and a leg, and the fact that, you know, he's probably very happy by it. But I think you need to try. I think, you know, you need to try and get him. And if you can't get him, you move on to the next one. No problemo. Yeah. But I think we should show a little bit of ambition this summer and try and get the best players, you know what I mean, that we can possibly get. And if we get rejected by the player, or the club says, now you can have him, but it's 200 mil, then no problem. We move on to the next one. But I don't think we shouldn't try. Yeah, I think we
can have the conversation with him in his camp.
Correct. Yeah.
Definitely. I don't think there's a problem with that. And I guess that if we do see bids going in, then that will tell us that he would be up for joining. But of course, you need to establish whether the player actually wants to come first of all. And I don't think that there's been anything credible which is even remotely suggested that Elise wants to leave Bayern. This is his second season as well. It's not like he's been there for ages. One, he wants to leave Bayern, and then two, if he does want to leave Bayern, wants to go to City. And because again, Bayern are a bigger boy than us. That's the thing to note as well, like commercially and just status wise as well. I don't want to admit that, but it is true.
Yeah, here's a question from Governor. Says, LB, you said we won't buy anyone. I won't be busy in January. I think January might be busy because of the World Cup in the summer. I don't think we'll sign a single player, Nobbins, in January. What do you think?
If we do sign a player, I don't think it's going to be an elite baller that we are potentially talking about here. It's going to be someone, I think you touched on it earlier, it's going to be someone like Reed. It's going to be a right back we can potentially develop into an elite option. So I don't think we're going to sign a starter in January, essentially. We might move on Ake, because he has been linked with going, hasn't he? Because was it even the Dutch manager has said he's not happy with this, and as that comment rightly said, it's a World Cup year. Ake wants to be playing a lot of football. That might open itself to signing a right back, because then you are moving Kusanov's right back minutes to centre back, and of course the right back is going to get those right back minutes. That's the only business I can really see us doing. I don't know what you think about that.
Well, I hear it, but you know, if you get, I don't know. I just don't think we sign anyone. I think even if like Ake go, I don't think we'd sign anyone. You've got 4 centre backs, and then you'd have 1 right back. Obviously, you've got Huzanov who can do just, you know, could hybrid both positions. I don't know, man. Mate, I think if we sign someone, it will be someone like that Guevara Reed, who's a young player who's going to come in. They probably won't play hardly any minutes. In the 6th, think of like Vita Hayes, you know, last year. We bring him in, but we don't actually play him. It's sort of like get him set up. Maybe it could be like a starting next year, and we just wanted to get him in now to sort of bed him in. But I agree. I don't think we're going to sign anybody that will come into the team. I'll go one step further, even be like a serious squad rotation option. I don't see it. I don't see it because I don't see the logic behind it. People are talking about right backs and that. Yeah, if the club wanted to sign a right back in January, what you're telling me they didn't want to sign one in the summer? So that means they've been convinced to sign one in January. But Nunez has been good since the summer. So why would they now be convinced that Nunez, you now need to buy a right back in January to replace Nunez? Nunez is playing his best football since he's been at the football club now. So, and then obviously you're not going to sign a winger in January. So yeah, I just don't really think, I trying to think of logic behind why we would go into the market, and I struggle to find a reason. Unless you go for like a young right back who they think, right, we're certain this right back's going to be our right back next year. Let's bring him in now. He can get used to the settings, get used to Pep, all that sort. He won't play, and then next summer he's ready to go. Maybe they do that.
Yeah, and it may well just be the future planning as well. They may look at the performances of Nunez and conclude, oh, he's actually shown that he can be like a 7 to 8 out of 10 most weeks, whatever. He's consistent. He's been good to great. He's really streamlined his game. Now we can afford to bring in a younger option who doesn't have to be thrown into the starting 11 immediately, and he can take over from Nunez perhaps next season. So let's get him in now so he can get up to speed with the league, can get up to speed with his teammates, and then from next year he can get properly integrated and compete with that right back spot. It's probably going to depend a lot on outgoings, isn't it? If we don't move anyone on, it's going to be very hard. We've already got a bloated squad. It's going to be very hard to justify any incomings without any outgoings. We've already got too many players. Senior players are being missed out on the bench, and we still got Rodri and Kova to come back also, and we're still having to leave players out. So we definitely need outgoings before incomings for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. I agree. Abdullah says, LB, do you think the City team could go on a 15-match win streak? I feel like we have players that just don't get it. Savinho, Bob, look, if I'm being honest with you, no, I don't think we can go on a 15-match winning streak. I don't think we've got enough killers in the squad because Haaland's not going to score every single game. And you need, in that situation, you need players that can put the ball in the back of the net. And at the moment, the guys ain't really doing that. So I still believe that Foden will start bagging goals, and he's got 4 so far this season. I think he will start scoring. Reinders, if he can get into the team, is a serious goal threat. But we're still not getting much from Doku. We're not getting anything from Bob or Savinho. Jerky's obviously still early days, so I think he will score goals, but it's early days. And, we're not even getting the goals from, we used to have Gavardio left back. He used to pop up with a few, didn't he? When he's out centre back, and Nico's not really getting any now. Nunez isn't getting. I don't think I've seen Nunez get far forward this season as I was at the back end of last year. It felt like last year in the second half of the season, Nunez was getting really far forward, and I feel like he's not getting there. So probably not, just because I feel like there'll be the odd game where Haaland doesn't score, and if Haaland doesn't score, we've lost 3 games. Haaland's not scored in this season, and we've lost every game apparently. So. Yeah, but I think we can go like a 7 or an 8-match winning streak.
That's what I was going to say. I don't think you have to go on a 15-match winning streak, but based on where we are at the season, Arsenal are 7 points ahead. That's 2 draws, and then you're 3 points behind, and they have to come to the Etihad, and then
beat them at that game. Yeah.
Oh yeah, to have any chance, definitely. But and I know it sounds like a big, and it is a big gap, 7 points this early in the season, but. For perspective, it is only 2 games of Arsenal. I mean, this is even they don't even have to lose a game, just draw 2, and then you're 3 points away from us, and you've got to come to the Etihad. So as long as you can keep within touching distance of them, within a result or 2, that can flip on its head immediately. I know it's frustrating that we lost on Saturday. That could have very easily been a game that we would have won, and then we would have only been 4 points behind. We were way more points behind at the start of the season. So. I don't think we can give up yet. I don't think we have to look at it in terms of, okay, we've got to win every single game from now on. It doesn't have to be that.
You know what? I completely agree with you. 7 points is nothing, right? You know what? I feel part of it is, it's not even the point. I feel like it's how we feel. Like, look at Arsenal yesterday. Look at their fan base yesterday, and rightly so. Yeah, obviously, look at the fans in the stadium. They were. I've seen that at the Etihad before, waving the scarves around. Yeah, I've seen that in the fucking treble here. Funny enough, a lot. Fan base is buzzing. They're just absolutely vibing. Yeah. Everyone, all the fan base is just gassed, yeah, and they're buzzing. And then you get to us, and we're like, "Fucking hell, man! Like, shit loss, man. You know what I mean? We can't beat no one away from home. We've only won 2 games away from home. We've lost again against another good side. We can't beat the good teams. Blah 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 blah." And I feel like we're a lot more sort of. I don't think we're depressed. Like, we're 3rd in the league, yeah, but obviously we're not as like vibing with our team as Arsenal fans are. Yet we're only 7 points behind them. So, you know what I mean? And that can change very quickly. Now, I will say, I think if it gets to double figures, 10 points, I feel like that's fucking tough.
Yeah, that becomes very tricky.
I think at that point, yeah, like we got to have a conversation about is the league over? Yeah, because 10 points. I don't think this Arsenal team is going to do a bottle like they did 2 years ago. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they've matured. I think they've matured enough. And I think the manager's matured where I think they'll be able to get across the line. So I'm at the point now where I'm like, this is the limit. You know what I mean? If you lose against Leeds and they beat Chelsea, bro, I might call it there 10 points. Like, that for me might be enough to say, yeah, but I'm not going to call it 7. It's easy. Another thing you have to keep your eye on, goal difference. You guys know I love talking about goal difference, but they're already +4 on us. Yeah, they're already +4. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, Nobbins was saying, then you draw 2. They draw 2 and we win, and then you bring it back to equal or whatever. But obviously, you need to just keep that goal difference. So we've got games coming up now against teams that we should be beating. And if you find yourselves 2-0 up after half time, you got to go out there in the second half and kill them and get the goals up, man, and just keep that goal. You do not want to be in a situation where you got 5 games left of the season and you're looking at it going, you know what, we could lose this on goal difference. Don't want to be in that position. Right, let me do these supers and then we'll wrap it up, boys. I've got to go on Saeed's channel, and Nobbins has to hit the gym. Big up to Armenia, says sell Jack and Savinho, buy Elise or Leao.
Do you remember earlier when I was saying don't be reactive and be reasonable?
Yeah, I don't think Leao's a right winger anyway, innit? But I'm definitely down for selling Jack Grealish and Savinho and buying Elise if that's an option. I don't know if it is an option though, but if it is, I'm fucking signing that one off. We got Alf, mate, says last season 8 points behind in January, finished 3 points behind only due to losing at the Emirates. Midfield was Gundogan, Silva, Kovacic, KDB, depending on injury. Second half of the season is City's turf. Exactly, bro. Just stick in there, stay in there, man. You can't win the league in November, but you can lose it. We're currently hanging on. Yeah, come on, man. Let's just stick in there, and then let's see where we are. You know, midway through January, end of January, and let's see where we are, man. You know what I'm saying? So, big up, man. That's it. Got to stick in there, mate. Big up Nicholas again. Says, if not Elise, I'd like City to go for Rafinha. He might be available as well, but I don't know his age. I think is he not his 30s? So he might be his 30s, no?
I do not know.
Yeah, I'm not sure, man, but he might be available in the summer, you know. So if he is, maybe that could be a potential option. But I don't know. Someone in the chat let us know. It's 27. Nah, he can't be 27.
Shall I fact check?
Vicky says Google? 27. Walter says he's 29. Vic says 28. Fuck you guys, man.
He's an old 28. He's going to be 29 in a few weeks.
What's his contract saying?
I'll have a look. What's his contract
I'd
saying?
definitely be down for Rafinha because I think he will be available this summer. Like, if
his contract is saying it expires in 2028.
So he'll have 2 years left on his deal.
I know he played at Leeds on both wings, but hasn't he predominantly played on the left for Barca?
I think that's because your mouth's come through, though, isn't it?
Oh, okay, fair.
I think, and I could be wrong. I think before Yamal, I think he was playing off the right, and he's also played up front a few times as well.
Yeah,
but he also can put the ball in. He's got a good delivery on him as well, you know. For Haaland.
Yeah, I mean, if he'd be 20, so he'd be 29. If you wanted to sign Rafinha, he'd be again, even assuming he wants to go, and assuming Barcelona want to sell him, he'd be 29 at the earliest opportunity for City to sign him. Really,
because I don't think the fee would be crazy. 2 years left on the contract, man. I think you could probably get him for like 70 million if I'm being honest with you. So yeah, let's see. But not a bad shout, that bro. Let's keep your eye on that one. I did see the Seidel Mala links, but this guy's played less minutes than fucking Vito Hayes did for Palmeiras, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, he's very much a project youth player. I've not seen anything of him. He might be a techie baller and be ready for the here and now, but he's played not a lot of minutes, man. So yeah, I don't really want to get another player that needs mad development sitting there for years. Big up Armenia says Spurs offered us 90 million for Savinho. Crazy. The price is going up and up. Now it's 90 million.
They didn't even
60 million, 70 million. And now
they
it's
didn't.
90.
They never even officially offered 70 million. I don't really know where that's come from. That never actually got officially offered.
Yeah, because there was a story in Brazil that was saying they were prepared to offer 70, but then City just said, we're just not selling him. So I think the reason why the official bid never actually arrived is because City just basically said it's not happening. But I think, I think from what I read, I think they were prepared to pay 70, but City were just like, nah, we're just not selling him.
Yeah. So there was no 70 million bids there.
No, there was no official 70 million pound bid.
Okay.
No, I don't know where 90 million is coming from, bro, though. Maybe a different.
Yeah, it may well be a different currency.
Yeah. Big up to DT says, I need Pep to start Omar Mamouche over Doku. But why are we having... What? Why you just throw this curveball in right at the end of the stream, bro?
Hello? I thought Doku was our best player on Saturday.
Yeah, he was, bro. Him and Donnarumma for me were like our two best players. Like outfield player was Doku. But bro, why are you throwing this curveball in there right at the end, mate? We haven't got time to address this thing, mate. Come back tonight, yeah. What the hell?
I'd start Marmouche on Tuesday, to be fair, over Doku, just to give him a start against Bundesliga opposition.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. Yeah.
But generally,
The thing for me is like I don't know if you can do this because obviously we're now in a situation where we're in must-win games, but I kind of wanted to be spamming out Marmouche and giving Doku a little bit of a break now, because obviously in a month's time, or in fact less than that, like 3 weeks' time, Marmouche is going AFCON, and then you're going to have to play Doku every single game, unless you want to see Savinho or Bob on the left-hand side.
And I don't.
So for me, I would kind of, nothing to do with Doku, by the way, nothing to do with performances, but I would kind of be like resting Doku now, because he's played a lot of football as well for Belgium and City this season. They're putting Marmouche in now, spam Marmouche out for the next 3 games, because I think it's 3 games or 4 games left now before he goes. Spam Marmouche out. Yeah, just use Doku off the bench to keep him fresh, and then and obviously keep him fit, and then Marmouche can go, and then you can just throw Doku back in again. Otherwise, you're effectively telling me, that you're playing Doku now every single game until mid-January. And he's already played every single game pretty much this season for club and country. You think that's a good idea?
No, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So I personally would be dropping Doku now for the next 4 games, just to protect him. Big up Perfecto says, team lacks goals outside of Haaland. I said it during the transfer window. People keep on saying we've got enough. Marmouche, Cherki, Foden. Well, Marmouche ain't playing. Yeah, I mean, Foden's got 4 goals this season so far. So it's kind of like...
We're the top goal scorers in the league.
Yeah, I think the fact is, though, it's like when Haaland hasn't scored this season, we've lost every game.
I don't know if I accept that correlation, because, I mean, Diaz scored on Saturday, and so that's a different goal scorer. And the reason why we lost was because we conceded a load of big chances as well. So he scored the goal without Haaland being there. No, it's not a bad thing that you're number 9. It's not a bad thing that the best number 9 in the world is being tailored to, being catered towards.
I get it. I just want to see a few more goals from people. But like I say, Foden's got 4 this season. So 4 in 15 games. Yeah, he's only played 1,100 minutes, by the way. So that how many would we really expect Foden to have at this point? What would be a reasonable number for Foden?
Well, he needs to be on. He needs to be on double digits before the end of the season, easily. If he's not, that's a concern.
He's gonna piss that.
Yeah.
So you're saying 10 goals is his target for the season?
Oh no, that's a bare minimum. If you only got 10, I'd be concerned.
So let's say 15.
Yeah.
I think he's got pissed that then. So he needs 11 goals now for the rest of the season.
Even in a deeper position, he should be doing that.
Yeah, he'll piss that. He'll get 11 goals now to the end of the season. Easy, surely.
Yeah.
Surely that's not controversial. And Cherki's been injured, bro. I think Cherki's backed a few, hasn't he?
Yeah, Cherki's got at least 2.
Cherki's got 4.
All comps. Oh, 4, there you go.
Oh, maybe set one set. That might be fraudulent. That might be Club World Cup.
Oh, that is fraudulent.
He got 1 in the Club World Cup, so he's got 3 this season. But again, he's only played 500 minutes, so he's got 3 goals in. And again, the 5. If you take them out, 400. So he's played. Yeah, he's played 400 minutes if you take out the Club World Cup. So he's got 3 goals in 400 minutes. So again, I think that's more than reasonable.
Yeah, I will only accept that it's a problem when we're not scoring a lot of goals. I guess that's when I'll accept it's a problem. But we are scoring a lot of goals.
Yeah, no. That's where I'm at with it as well. And big up Godfrey, final one before we wrap up. Says, why is no one talking about getting a 6'8" ball winning physical energetic midfielder? Bro, have you not been on my channel? I've been speaking about Elliot Anderson for like 2 months. Rodri's recovery not looking good, and injury to Nico G will be disastrous. And injury to Nico G will be disastrous if Rodri's injury and recovery is not looking good. I am not too worried about Rodri yet, but I've said if he comes back and gets another injury rapid, that's when I'll start panicking. Yeah, but I've said I think the path back for Rodri was always going to be tricky. You know what I mean? And I say it, but when he got that ACL, I said you're not going to see the best Rodri until January 2026. Yeah, we're now 2 months away from that. Rodri should be back now. You would imagine it's been 3 weeks. So you think he might be on the bench maybe for Leverkusen? Nice, easy min, slowly but surely. Yeah, we rushed him back. We played him 3 games in a week, which was poor management. It has to be said. We got to be careful with him. Yeah, but I'm not personally worried just yet. If he gets another injury rapid when he comes back, then I will be worried. But yeah, I'm not too worried. But yeah, Elliot Anderson, bro, get you around him. Do some scouting missions on Elliot Anderson, lad. And big up Jezza Doku, who's the GOAT. So Savinho is the easy scapegoat. Talk on your boy Foden, deflection. What, bro? You're funny. So you want to scapegoat Foden instead, basically what you're saying.
I feel like there must be a mistype there because the sentence doesn't make sense.
Yeah. He doesn't want us to scapegoat Savinho, which I don't think we have. I don't think we've spoken about it for like 4 minutes.
I can't tell if it's a general, because I mean we haven't. First and foremost, I feel like I've defended him quite a lot.
We both
this stream.
Foden's
been one of our best players this season, so I don't know why I'd talk on him. He wasn't the only player to miss. Well, we had like that one sitter, didn't he? Haaland had 2, so it's very interesting to isolate him. I think it speaks to when City lose, you can tell who has the agendas, I suppose, is what I'm trying to say. That earlier when that person was saying, I need Doku to get benched and Marmoush to play over him all the time or something. Like that. Where's that come from? What's that?
I always say, man, if you have your agendas, that's no problemo in it, but you need to disclose them. Yeah, disclose them before you do.
I see. Because if you disclose them, that's like it's like a vibe agenda.
Yeah. Like, bro, I'll like
that's fine.
For example, Conor Gallagher. Yeah,
Højbjerg.
I have a
hate him.
I think this guy is stealing a living in football, right? Well, not football, but top level Champions League, La Liga football. Yeah. But I've got an agenda, and I've had an agenda for years. So I've said that, and I've always made my point.
That's reasonable.
That, So yeah. Anyways, let's wrap it up. Højbjerg, that's such a random one, but I get it at the same time.
Because whenever he played us, he's always feigning a head injury, and it would really piss me off. I hate that little rat. Anyway, that's my agenda.
I hear it, man. Let us know in the comment section below which players you got an agendas on. Yeah, I was going to see
a fun agenda, not like a like a fun one.
Yeah. Crazy. You have a Jude Bellingham agenda. You're not allowed to say that anymore now, Steve Lewis. Yeah, I see that. Apparently, it's a racismo now. If you say that's crazy, bro. Like that's fucking wild. But yeah, big up to you, man. Smash the likes on the chat. I'm going over to midday live. Yeah. Well, I will try and defend myself. Yeah, because I don't feel like I should be getting cooked, but I might get cooked, bro. I can't lie. See you in a bit.